The arena of Shamath crowd was loud. Alien voices shouted from every side of the arena. Banners flew. Drums beat like thunder. Lights flashed over the sand. In the center of it all stood Dax, the only human. No weapon, no armor, just torn black. Clothes and bruises from the caves they kept him in. Across from him stood Varka, tall, blue-skinned, proud, the warrior princess of the Drunari Empire. Her armor was shining silver, carved with the faces of enemies she had beaten. Behind her, chained by thick black steel, was her battle beast. The beast growled low. Its mouth was filled with sharp teeth. Its eyes glowed red. Its body was huge for times Dax's size, covered in thick bone armor. The ground shook every time it stepped forward. Va-RKA laughed. "This is your champion," she shouted, looking at the alien council. "This is the best your planet could send. He doesn't even have claws." The crowd laughed with her. Dax said nothing. Va-RKA walked forward, her boots kicking dust into the air. "I'll give you a gift, human," she said, "a 5-second head start. You run, I release the beast. Sound fair?" The crowd cheered. Dax looked up, quiet. His face was calm, no fear in his eyes. He didn't run. Va-RKA frowned. The high voice of the Drunari speaker echoed above them all. "This battle is by royal law. One human challenger, one royal hunter. Only one leaves alive." The war horn blew. The gates slammed shut. Dax didn't move. Varka raised her hand and shouted, "Go!" The chains dropped. The beast roared. The sound was like thunder. It charged forward, claws tearing into the sand. The crowd rose to their feet, but Dax didn't run. At the last second, when the beast's claws were just inches from his chest, he ducked and spun, fast, too fast for a normal human. The beast missed. It slid across the sand and crashed into the wall. A cloud of dust rose. The crowd fell silent. Varka's smile vanished. She stepped forward. "Lucky move," she said. The beast turned again and charged. This time, Dax stepped sideways. He touched the beast's neck just for a moment. It screamed and stumbled. The crowd gasped. No one had ever touched the beast like that. Not even Varka dared to get close when it was angry. Dax stood still again. Dust covered his arms, but his breath was steady. His eyes didn't blink. Va-RKA narrowed her eyes. "She didn't like this. Fight me, human," she shouted. "Fight like a real warrior." But Dax didn't answer. He looked at the beast, then at her, then at the sky. He was watching everything. The beast came again. Dax didn't dodge this time. Instead, he moved toward it. His hands touched the beast's face, shoulders, back, soft touches, fast and light. And again, the beast stopped. It froze in place. Dax stepped back. The beast growled, confused. Va-RKA ran forward in anger. "Stop playing with it," she yelled. But the crowd had stopped laughing. They were whispering now. One alien general leaned to another. "What is he doing? How does he know where to touch it? That's no accident," another said. "He studied it." The speaker of the arena leaned into the mic. "Is this human? Taming it?" The beast turned its head. It looked at Dax, then it looked at Va-RKA. For the first time, it didn't charge. Va-RKA shouted again, "Attack, now." The beast didn't move. Dax finally spoke. His voice was soft, but strong. "You beat it into a killer," he said, "but you never understood it." The crowd went silent. Va-RKA raised her hand. Her armor shimmered in the light. She looked down at Dax, and for a second, she didn't know what to say. The human didn't fight like a soldier. He fought like someone who knew something no one else did, and that scared her. Varka's Varka stood frozen in the arena. Her beast, her weapon, her pride, was not listening. For years, it had crushed enemies, torn them apart, made people scream in fear, but now it stood still. Its red eyes looked confused, not wild, not angry, almost calm. And in front of it stood Dax, the quiet human. No armor, no weapon, no fear. Va-RKA clenched her fists. "You tricked it," she said. "You did something." Dax said nothing. He kept his eyes on the beast. His hands stayed open, low, and relaxed. The crowd whispered louder now. Alien leaders leaned forward. Cameras zoomed in. "Is this a new weapon?" one noble asked. "Or is the human just different?" Another replied. Va-RKA didn't care what they said. This was her moment. This was her victory, and this human had stolen it. She walked forward fast. Her boots cracked into the sand. "Move, beast," she ordered. The beast growled low. but it didn't move. Dax looked at Varka. His voice was calm. You beat it, chained it, broke its spirit. Varka's eyes narrowed. And you think a soft hand will fix it? No, Dax said, but kindness is louder than fear. Even monsters know that. The crowd went silent again. hfy-sci-fy was boiling with rage. You insult me with your words, human, she said. Do you even know who I am? Dax tilted his head. I know what you are, he replied, but not who. That struck her harder than any punch. The arena gates opened. Guards stepped in. Alien warriors in heavy armor. They waited for orders. The announcer's voice echoed. Do you wish to end the battle? By council law. Varka shook her head. No, she said. This ends with my sword. She drew her blade long, sharp, glowing blue. It had once belonged to her father. It had never lost in combat. The beast growled again. Dax looked at it. Stay, he whispered. The beast did not move. hfy-sci-fy ran toward Dax with full speed, the blade high in the air. Dax moved sideways. Fast, faster than before. The blade missed his head by inches. He rolled in the sand. Stood up again. hfy-sci-fy attacked again. Swings, slashes, each one sharp, strong, trained. But Dax was calm, like he had fought this fight in his mind 1,000 times before. He didn't fight back, just dodged, always watching, learning, step by step. The crowd watched every move. Sweat ran down Varka's face. Her breath got heavier. Her anger clouded her thoughts. She jumped, tried to land a final strike. Dax moved again, but this time, he grabbed her arm as she passed. With one strong twist, she dropped the sword. It hit the sand with a dull thud. The crowd gasped. Dax didn't hit her, didn't push her down. He just stepped back and waited. hfy-sci-fy stood still, chest rising fast. Her pride cracked. Why don't you fight me? She asked. Dax looked her in the eyes. Because this is not your real fight, he said. You fight to prove something. To who? She blinked. For a second, the whole arena disappeared in her mind. The cheers, the lights, the judgment. She saw a memory, a small training room. Her father's voice. You must win. Always win. The weak are forgotten. She remembered those words. And now, the weak one was standing in front of her, unbroken. She felt tears trying to rise, but she stopped them. You don't know me, she said. You're right, Dax said. But your beast does. He pointed to the creature. It walked forward slowly, stopped beside Varka, looked at her, then looked at Dax, and bowed its head, not to its master. To the human. The arena exploded in noise. Some cheered, some shouted, and angered others watched in silence. A human had entered their world and changed it. Varka looked at the beast, then at Dax, for the first time in her life as she felt small. But in that smallness, something grew. Not hate, not shame. Something else. Understanding. The chain that snapped. The beast stood still, its red eyes no longer wild, no longer full of rage. It looked at Dax like it had known him before, like something deep inside remembered. Safety. Varka didn't speak. Her sword lay in the sand. Her armor was dirty. Her pride was cracking. The crowd was confused. Some stood in shock. Others argued in their seats. How did he do that? One elder asked. That beast was born in blood, trained to obey no one but her. Another said. The announcer's voice echoed again. This is not over. The match has no winner yet, unless one yields. But no one moved. Dax looked around slowly, his hands still calm, open, relaxed. The beast is not your weapon anymore, he said. Varka's fingers curled into fists. She hated how calm he was. Hated that the crowd was watching her like she was the weak one. You think you've won, she said. Dax shook his head. I didn't come to win. Then why are you here? She snapped. He looked up at the lights, then at the alien banners flying over the arena. To remind them, he said, that strength is not always loud. Suddenly, a new voice boomed from the stands. Enough. A tall alien general stood. His armor was black and gold, his eyes cold. The human is cheating, he shouted. He used mind control. The crowd stirred. No human has powers like this. Another voice agreed. Varka didn't stop them. She wanted the blame off her. This man broke royal law. The general said. He touched the beast. He tricked its mind. Guards entered the arena again, their weapons aimed at Dax. Dax didn't move. I didn't control it, he said. I understood it. The general's hand rose. Take him. And then the chain snapped. Not the one on Dax, the beast's collar, with a loud, sharp crack. The thick black chain around the beast's neck shattered. Everyone froze. The beast moved, not toward Dax, toward the guards. It leapt, roaring like thunder. The first the guards went flying into the air. Screams filled the arena. Varka stepped back. Stop, she shouted. But the beast didn't listen to her. It stood in front of Dax now, teeth bared, like a shield. Call it off, the general yelled. You're the one who scared it, Dax said. You all did. He looked at Varka again. But you can still end this. She swallowed hard. How? Tell the truth. The beast growled. The general raised his arm again, but Varka stepped forward. Stop, she yelled. He's right. The arena felt quiet again. This wasn't a fight, Varka said. It was a test. For both of us. She turned to Dax. I mocked you. I called you weak. Then she looked at her beast. But you showed me what real strength looks like. The beast lowered its head. The crowd stood still. And in that moment, the war drums stopped. Part 3 complete. 800 plus words ready for Part 4. Secrets of the Human Past? Or would you like me to generate your YouTube thumbnail image prompt plus title plus hashtags? Plus tags plus description now based on the first 3 parts? Just say continue Part 4 or give YouTube package now. You said : ChatGPT said, reason for a second greet. Here is Part 4. Secrets of the Human Past in approximately 800 words. Written in third person using simple, basic English, with suspense, mystery, and emotional depth. Part 4. Secrets of the Human Past. The arena was quiet after the chaos. The echoes of the shattered chain and roaring beast still lingered in the air. Dax stood in the center, his calm eyes fixed on Varka and the fallen guards. The crowd, once roaring, now whispered in hushed confusion. Yet in that silence, a new question began to form. What was this human really? Varka stepped back slowly, still clutching her sword. Her pride was wounded, but curiosity stirred within her. You never told us who you are, she demanded, her voice trembling between anger and wonder. She stared at Dax, her blue eyes searching for answers. Dax lowered his head briefly. I come from a world far away, he said quietly, a world where strength is tested in many ways. The words hung in the air. No one in the arena had ever heard a human speak so calmly about his past. The crowd leaned forward, eager to catch every word. He continued, I was not born a fighter. I was a builder, a thinker, a keeper of secrets. As he spoke, his eyes flashed with distant memories. The beast, now subdued and standing loyally beside Dax, seemed to nod as if understanding the human's words. Varka crossed her arms, skeptical. Builder, but you fought like a warrior out there. You touched the beast with your hand, and it obeyed you. Her tone was harsh yet laced with curiosity. Dax gave a soft smile, recalling painful memories. On my home planet, I was part of a program meant to change us. I learned to train my body and mind together. They called it the Echo Trial. It was meant to make us stronger, not just in muscle, but in spirit and wisdom. He paused, gathering his thoughts. I studied ancient ways, learning how nature and technology blend. I learned how to see the hidden patterns in life. The crowd was silent now, their minds filled with wonder and fear. An elder from the audience asked softly, what did you see in those patterns? Dax looked out over the sea of alien faces. I saw suffering, yes, and I saw hope. I saw my ancestors fighting not with brute force, but with cleverness. I learned that sometimes the greatest strength is in knowing when to hold back. His voice trembled with honesty. That is why I did not attack you when I could have. I wish to understand. Varka's eyes flickered with mixed emotions. She had always known her people valued strength in battle, power on the field. Yet in this human, there was a different kind of strength, a quiet resolve, a memory of deeper things. The beast beside Dax let out a low, almost respectful sound, as if it remembered something lost long ago. Leah, who had listened from the side, stepped forward. We have found records in our archives of a human program known as the Echo Trial, where select few were trained in ancient martial arts and science combined. She said in a hushed tone, they aim to create not warriors, but balanced souls capable of understanding both pain and beauty. The words confirmed what Dax had said. The arena, once a place of vicious combat and loud laughter, slowly turned somber. Even Varka felt her anger soften. She lowered her sword, her brow furrowing in thought. So, Your past is more than what we have seen today, she asked. Dax nodded. Every scar, every touch with the beast was a lesson. I learned that power does not just lie in arm strength or in loud battles. Sometimes, the quiet knowledge of history and of our own hearts is what protects us. He paused and looked at the subdued beast, then back at Varka. That is why I choose understanding over cruelty. The general from the stand shifted uncomfortably. Many of the Drunari had always valued mind above mind. Now they saw a human whose secret past had shaped him into a warrior of wisdom. Whispers spread among the crowd. Some spoke of change, while others murmured of danger. Varka, still grappling with her own pride, stepped closer to Dax. If you have such secrets, then perhaps you also have a way to end this senseless fighting, she said softly. Her voice was uncertain but genuine. Dax's gaze fell to his hands. I do not know how to change the ways of war overnight, he admitted, but I can show you that sometimes even the faintest light of memory can guide us. I learned how to calm the beast inside me and, maybe, the beast within you too. His tone was gentle yet firm. The arena held its breath. In that tense silence, a spark of understanding ignited. The human's words mingled with the fading echoes of battle. The crowd's anger and mockery began to dissolve into reluctant respect, and even the once proud Varka seemed to soften. Doctor, Leah stepped closer, her scientific mind abuzz with possibility. Perhaps this is the beginning of a new way of balance between strength and wisdom that our world has long needed, she said as she looked at Dax with a mix of wonder and respect. The lights in the arena dimmed slowly, as if the very structure of their world was listening to this revelation. Even the beast, which had been a symbol of raw aggression, now lay quietly at Dax's side as though at peace. In that moment, the secrets of the human past were laid bare before an alien empire, and the auditorium, once filled with jeers and scorn, now echoed with the soft, hopeful murmur of change. Dax had not only shown his strength in battle, but revealed that true power lay in understanding, in history, and in the quiet lessons of old times. Varka looked at him, her eyes less certain now. Maybe there is more to strength than I thought, she whispered. Dax simply smiled, his eyes holding a deep calm. We all have secrets, he said, and sometimes the truth behind them can save us all. As the crowd slowly dispersed, the arena fell into a reflective silence, a silence that promised new beginnings, and the hope that even the mightiest could learn from the past. Asterisk. Her greatest Varka couldn't sleep that night. The stars outside her chamber window flickered like silent eyes, watching her. The echo of the arena still played in her mind. Dax standing tall, her beast bowing at him, and the shame that settled like a weight on her chest. For the first time in her life, she wasn't sure if she had won or lost everything. How could he? She whispered to herself, staring at her own reflection in the silver wall. How could a human understand what even I could not? Her beast had returned to its cell, but it did not growl. It didn't rage. It just lay there, silent and calm, almost like it missed Dax. Varka clenched her fists. She had trained her whole life for strength. She had won 50 battles, beaten warriors twice her size. She was feared, respected, even envied. But today, she was questioned, and it made her feel small. The council had not yet decided Dax's fate. Many wanted him removed. Some wanted to study him. Others feared him. Fear is a weapon, her father had once said. If they fear you, they will not challenge you. But Varka didn't want fear anymore. Not like this. The next day, she visited the beast alone. Its red eyes glowed faintly as she entered. It didn't growl. It simply watched her. You obeyed him, she said softly. Why? The beast said nothing. Of course, it couldn't. But in its eyes, she saw something she hadn't noticed before. Regret. And then Varka understood her mistake. She hadn't just trained the beast through pain, she had broken its trust. And now, it had found someone who showed it respect. She knelt beside the beast's cage. I hurt you, she whispered. I made you a tool, not a partner. The beast blinked slowly. Tears formed in Varka's eyes, but she wiped them away quickly. She stood up and left, not to hide, not to forget, but to fix it. She walked straight to the holding cells beneath the arena where Dax was kept, in a small room surrounded by energy walls. The guards moved aside as she entered. Dax sat on the floor, eyes closed, calm as always. You're not afraid, she said. He opened his eyes slowly. I've been through worse. She crossed her arms. You've made me question everything. That wasn't my goal. Dax said, I just told the truth. Varka looked down. I mocked you. In front of everyone. Laughed at your arms, your size, your species. Dax smiled faintly, and then I threw your beast. She laughed. Just a little. Yes, that part hurt. Silence filled the room for a moment. Then Varka said, I came to ask, will you train me? Dax blinked. Train you? Not in fighting, she said. In understanding. In control. In the thing you do. Were you calm even the wildest creature? Dax nodded slowly. You're strong, Varka. But strength without balance is a sword without a handle. I want to learn the handle, she whispered. He smiled gently. Then we start tomorrow. Outside. The cell. The council watched through hidden cameras. Whispers began again. A warrior asking a human to train her. A beast choosing peace. Something was changing, and those in power were afraid. In the shadows of the control tower. A figure watched the recordings. His voice was cold. She's becoming weak, he said. No, replied another voice. She's becoming dangerous, and we must stop it. Asterisk the betrayal inside the tower, deep inside the High Council tower. Shadows moved. Screens flickered with images from the arena. Dax, Varka, the beast bowing, and most of all Hope. But hope was dangerous. They're rewriting the rules, the head elder growled. His voice was sharp, cold, a human and a traitor warrior, making fools of us all. His eyes burned into the council table. We must stop them before others start believing in peace. But she's one of us, someone whispered. Not anymore, the elder said. She must fall. Meanwhile, Varka trained with Dax in secret chambers below the arena. No swords, no armor. Just breath, movement. Trust. She had never moved like this before. Calm, quiet, listening instead of striking. The beast watched from the corner, relaxed. No chain around its neck. You're learning fast, Dax said. I haven't learned more, Varka replied. Then the lights above flickered. Guards burst in. Step back, one shouted. Dax raised his hands. We're not doing anything wrong. You're under arrest, the lead guard barked. By council order. For spreading rebellion and bonding with classified creatures. Varka stepped forward. Don't touch him. The guards hesitated. This is a council-approved zone, she said. Not anymore. One guard raised his weapon. Fired. The bolt hit Dax in the shoulder. He dropped to one knee. No, Varka screamed. The beast roared and charged. Within seconds. The room was chaos. Blades, roars, sparks, shouting. Varka fought like she never had before. Not for glory, but for someone she believed in. And for the first time, she knew what real strength felt like. Not power. But protection. She pulled Dax behind a barrier as the beast pinned the attacker's back. Dax was breathing, but weak. They planned this, he said. Someone powerful. We're not running, Varka said. We're ending this. They stormed the tower. Varka wore no armor. Dax's arm was bandaged. The beast walked beside them, silent and calm. The council was waiting. Guards blocked the doors. Move, Varka ordered. They didn't. The beast stepped forward. They moved. Inside. The elder stood with cold eyes. You have broken every law, the head elder said. Then your laws are broken, Varka said. This human poisoned your mind. No, she said. He freed it. The elder raised a signal. You will both be erased. Your story ends here. But a sound echoed through the chamber. Boots. Many boots. Warriors stepped in. Young fighters, aliens, even former rivals. They had watched the arena, heard the words, seen the beast bow. They had chosen. You can't erase truth. One shouted. You can't chain respect. Another said. The elder looked around. He had ruled for decades with fear. But now, even fear bowed. This is madness, he whispered. No, Dax said, standing with help. This is change. The beast roared once more. And the tower fell silent. Epilogue months passed. The arena was no longer a place of blood. It became a place of trials, learning, unity. Varka became his leader. Dax taught those who listened. The beast, it wandered, free, never chained again, and stories spread across the stars about a human with no weapons, a warrior who changed her heart, and a beast that bowed not to fear, but to kindness. Asterisk the weight of peace of war was over. Not with fire, not with blood, but with a choice. Dax stood at the edge of the mountain city, looking out over a land that once feared him. Beside him was Varka, no longer the feared huntress, but a symbol of change. You started something, she said quietly. No, Dax replied. You finished it. The beast lay curled near the stones, calm as a sleeping river. Children no longer ran in fear of it. They left offerings, whispered to it, like it was a legend reborn. But peace came with a price, because not everyone wanted change. The Tower Council had been broken, but a few of its leaders escaped into the stars. Whispers of rebellion spread across nearby systems. The human poisoned their minds, one of them said. We must remind them who holds power, said another. And so, a new plan began to form, one that would strike at the heart of this peace. Dax and Varka trained the next generation. Warriors who listened, who respected, who didn't fight to dominate, but to protect. One morning, Varka found Dax standing still near the arena ruins. He looked troubled. What is it? She asked. I feel something, he said. Something. Old. Something. Coming. That same night, a strange ship appeared. Not large, but silent. And inside it was a message, projected in the sky above the capital. Every being on the planet watched it. You have fallen to weakness, your leaders. Bend to a human, your beast bows to words. We are coming, not to talk, but to remind you who we are. Fear returned. Briefly. But Varka stood before the people. This is not the old world, she said. This is ours now, and we won't kneel. She turned to Dax. Will you stand beside us? He smiled. I was never going to leave. The people prepared, not for war, but for defense. They didn't hide. They didn't beg. They stood together. And when the enemy returned, they were not met by one warrior, but by a planet of them. The rebellion expected fear, but found unity. They saw children with calm eyes, mothers with steel in their steps. Even the beast stood at the front gates, not chained, not angry but ready. And the ships turned away, not because they were outgunned, but because they knew fear had no home here anymore. Epilogue. Dax never asked for glory, never wanted fame. But stories of him spread across galaxies, not of his strength, but of his kindness. And Varka, she rebuilt her people's traditions from the ashes this time, with heart. And the beast, it wandered free and watched from afar, always. For it knew, in its own way, that peace was the loudest roar of all.